All right, everyone, welcome back. Today we have two pretty quick things to go over with the new Ludwig Total Percussion Pad. And I should say right up front that we're back to using the pre-programmed sounds that are already built into the unit, and we're also back to using these 2 1/4-inch outputs. So we will not be dealing with MIDI in this video. The first thing that we want to cover, you can see from the top camera, you can see that we're in the home screen because the home button is blue. And if I press this F1 button, I'm going to be accessing the Pad VOL, which stands for Pad Volume button, or submenu, sorry. So ultimately, I'm going to use the Pad Volume submenu to kind of balance the volume of these different sounds that I have in this built-in kit number 19 that we've been continuously modifying. Now, reasons why you might want to do that, ultimately, again, whether you're in a live scenario, a live show type of scenario, so if you're playing a gig, or if you're in a recording studio setup type of environment, if you're using the audio output and not the MIDI output, what you send via these 1 or 2 1/4-inch outputs can't be modified once it's recorded. It's just recorded the way it is. Now, of course, you can always do things in post-production to bring certain frequencies either up or down, but that's as much as you're going to be able to do. You can also add compressors and other types of effects in post-production to make certain frequencies or certain sounds pop a little bit more or less, depending on what you're looking for. But that's as much as you're going to be able to do. The nature of the sound will not change because it's an audio file, not a MIDI file. Hopefully that makes sense. So, where am I going with that? If you're recording a kit with, in our case, 12 different 12 different sounds that we can trigger, really 11 because I haven't assigned a sound to the hi-hat foot trigger on this kit yet. If one cymbal or one tom or one sound is significantly louder than all of the others, you run the risk of just having that one sound overtake everything else that you're doing. So before you record it, if you use the Pad Volume submenu to just kind of balance everything so that you can, at any point, you can hear every sound with an equal weight, then once the sound gets recorded via the audio outputs, it'll be a lot easier to balance things in post-production and make it sound like something that can really be translated to a broad audience. Anyway, let's dive in. So we're still with our modified kit number 19 called Machine. Just as a reminder, it sounds like this. Okay, so that's what it sounds like so far. If you're having trouble understanding how we're getting these different sounds, because maybe you have a Ludwig Total Percussion Pad, and your sounds are not arrayed like that, go back and check out some of the earlier videos in this series to understand how we reprogrammed these different pads to sound like that, including adding the extra triggers and getting them up and running as well. Anyway, right now, to my ear, especially the crash cymbal, these 2 external pads that are triggering crash cymbal sounds are significantly louder than everything else, and I kind of want to balance that out, so that when I'm playing a fill, if I play a fill and hit the crash cymbal and then go back to a groove, you can still hear the groove that I'm playing even as the crash cymbal sustains over the top of it. So let me do that. Let me go to that one right there. I'm going to decrease the volume. If you take a look at the top camera, volume is at 100 right now. So I'm going to decrease the volume to, I don't know, let's cut it in half. Let's just see what happens. So now it's at volume 50. All right, so that's closer, but it might be a little bit too quiet. So let's up it back to 60 and see what that does. Okay, that's pretty good. For my money, that's pretty good. I can hear that there's a crash cymbal there, but I can also hear that it's not getting in the way of these other samples. Now, this second crash, compared to everything else, that one's really loud. So immediately the first thing, and I can also see that its volume is at 100%. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut it in half. So we'll go down to 50. That's still pretty loud, so I'm actually going to cut it in half again. I'm going to cut it in half again down to 25. That's much closer. Okay, so again, for my money, to my ear, that now sounds balanced. Both of these crash cymbal sounds are popping through with about the same intensity, and they're both not overtaking. The sustain of these sounds is not overtaking anything else that I'm doing. So that, for my money, that's a pretty well balanced kit. Hopefully you can hear the difference in the way that the performance is sounding. There's only one other thing I can think of off the top of my head. That sounds this sound is a little bit loud as well. So let me start again by cutting it in half. I'm gonna go down to 50. That's still a little bit loud. Let me go down to 25 and just see if that's too quiet. That's a little bit too quiet. Let's go, I don't know, maybe 35. Let's go up to 40. All right, again, to my ear, that's a well-balanced kit. And at this point, now not only do I have the sounds arranged so that they're comfortable to play, but I now have them balanced so that if I was taking this exact setup here with the Total Percussion Pad, these two external Roland pads, the Roland bass drum trigger and the Roland hi-hat trigger, if I was going to take this to a gig or to like a studio session or something like that, I feel confident that I could send a stereo output using 2 1/4-inch cables to anyone's sound system or recording setup and be able to give them both an authentic performance and then the ability to in post-production to modify that authentic performance so that it sounds good and that it reaches the audience the way that I want it to. So that's the first thing that we wanted to talk about. That's the first topic that we wanted to talk about today. Really quick, if you look at the top camera, we still have this pad volume submenu here on the screen. If I want to get out, all I'm going to do is press this button right here. We have the OK button right here, and if I press the button right next to it, it gets us, that's basically the back button. So the other thing that we want to talk about today is we want to talk about this button right here called Kit Set. Now we used this once before when we were talking about how to alter the MIDI note number per pad so that it could interface with the piano roll on the software instruments. That's in the video where we talked about how to use MIDI for this. But the other really useful submenu in the Kit Set button, or the Kit Set screen really, is the one called Common, which is F1. And for this one, you have the ability to change a couple different things. The first thing you can change is the overall kit volume. So this shouldn't have anything to do with which pad I'm hitting. It should have everything to do with just the overall sound. So. Yeah, okay, so as I'm playing, I'm decreasing the volume and it is actually getting softer. Now that could definitely come in handy in a couple of different places. First of all, if you are, for whatever reason, if the setup that you're the setup that you're plugged into is like if you plug this into somebody's mixing board or sound system or whatever, and the output of your Total Percussion Pad is peaking their channels, just turn the overall kit volume down, or you can also turn the overall master volume up and down, and it should stop peaking at a certain point. The other thing is that if you're in a show scenario and you're moving quickly from kit to kit, and one set of, one particular kit is significantly louder or softer than the other ones, then you can adjust the various kit volumes so that you're consistently sending about the same audio output level to whatever system you're plugged into. Hopefully that makes sense. The second thing that you can change in the Common Kit Set submenu is the kit click. Now the click is this button right here. This is a click that's built into the unit, and if you want to adjust the tempo, then you do that here in the Common Kit Set submenu. So if I increase the tempo from 120 to 150, you can hear the click gets faster. I can also go slower if I need to. So this is where you would do that. And to turn the click on and off, just simply hit the click button, and that'll take care of that. Now, one thing, the next kind of thing you can mess around with is what's called Link Group 1. Now, if I hit, for example, if I hit the snare pad, pad 8, automatically that has registered here in Link Group 1. And if I then go to the other half of this equation, and I hit the bass drum, trigger 1, what I've just done is I've now linked pad 8 and trigger 1. So if I hit pad 8, it should trigger both the sound from pad 8 and trigger 1 at the same time. So I should hear both snare drum and bass drum at the same time, which you can hear. You could do that with any of these pads. I can also trigger that sound right? I can also trigger this sound. Now, of course, you can always do that. I'm going to turn this off. You can always do that. You can always kind of use that same functionality by using the Wave A and Wave B submenu in that would be under Pad. So I could go to the snare drum trigger and have Wave A be the snare drum sound and Wave B be the kick drum sound, and just have them trigger simultaneously. That's another way you can get that same effect. But if you want to, for whatever reason, if you want to link two pads together, you can do that. Especially if you already have Wave A and Wave B plugged, triggering simultaneously, like we do with this crash cymbal. Then, in order to add a third sound on top of it, you would have to use, you would have to link it to one of the other pads. So that's pretty cool. The last two things you can do in this kind of kit set submenu is you can change the color of these LEDs to whatever color you want. Right now it's set to LU orange, but you got yellow, gray blue, I guess, GRE blue, May green. Yeah, you got a whole bunch of different color options here. I kind of like May green. And then the other thing you can do is, as you've probably noticed from all of the videos so far, whenever I hit, especially one of these 9 pads, whenever I hit a pad, the light changes color, and it stays that changed color for as long as the sample is playing. So if it's a longer sample, the color change lasts for a longer period of time. But where am I going with this? The last thing you can change in this kit set submenu is you can change what color the light changes color to. So right now, the main color is May green, and the LED hit color is HT violet. So if I hit this pad, you see the difference in color there? And you notice that it stays that changed color for as long as the sample lasts. All of the tom samples are shorter sounds, so they don't change color for as long. That one's in the middle. The hi-hats are very, very short. So, and these the external triggers don't have that lighting capability. But so I can change what color the color change goes to. Including, I believe, yeah. You can also, one of the color changes you can program is that it actually just turn the color off. So that's a brief overview. That's a brief overview of some more of the functionality you can get out of this unit. So have fun with it.